Sims down three. Should the Bulls foul? No. Anthony for three.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Locked In Podcast, Episode 2. We are recording on the night of March 23rd, which is a Monday. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for listening.
We would like to thank, based on our Spotify stats, all 6 of our lovely listeners. Thanks for your kind words. We appreciate all the feedback we've been getting on Instagram, Facebook, DMing. We'll try to make some of those changes you guys suggested, add some more content. We're trying to post often and have kind of relevant content for these times, and whatever you guys feel like needs to be included, we'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. So just once again, thank you everyone who listened. As Shri said, it says we have 6 listeners. One of them was me, one of them was Shri. So thank you for our 4 listeners. But on the real, if you guys have any feedback, please let us know. You can email us at our email. We have an email now, podcast.lockedin@gmail.com. Please email us. Sign us up for whatever you want to sign us up for. Forever 21 coupons. We love it all. And any emails we get, we will obviously respond to them. And if you guys want to be featured on the podcast, if you guys have some hot takes, let us know. We will try and feature, people that want to be on the podcast as much as possible.
I just don't want to see no damn Club Penguin emails in my inbox.
Hey, maybe Locked In can have our own Club Penguin. Who knows? And,
virtual Club Penguin.
As Sri said, we got a lot of positive support on our first episode, so much so that we received another sponsorship. So we want to thank our sponsor for this episode, 24-Hour Fitness. They're still closed. You're still paying them. 24-Hour Fitness. Cancel your gym memberships today, folks. Otherwise, they just make money, and you can't go to the gym anyway. So, once again, it looks like we're getting a lot of traction on this, our second straight episode with the sponsor, which is great. If anybody wants to actually sponsor us and pay us money, we will gladly take it.
Our secondary goal, aside from sponsorship, is we're trying to get like a celebrity guest on this podcast at some point. We're really, really desperate. We're going to be DMing some people, hitting up everyone we know or don't know for that matter. If y'all know someone famous, let us know. If you have any connections, any influencers, any content creators who have access to like sports celebrities, tell them about Locked In.
Yeah, we're going to, try and use Twitter to DM as many famous athletes as possible. I have a pretty good relationship with Mo Bamba, so I'll try and use that as well. As many of you know, we are classmates, or we were classmates, and so we're going to try and get celebrity on this podcast at some point or another. It's going to happen. We will will it into existence.
Classmates is highly generous.
We were classmates. We're tight. Mo Bamba, if you're listening, hit us up. Podcast.lockedin@gmail.com. You know how to reach me.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, so we have some exciting sports news. 2 XFL quarterbacks were signed by NFL teams. PJ Walker of the Houston Roughnecks was signed with the Panthers, and Jordan Ta'amu was signed with the Chiefs. So, Shri, does this mean that the XFL was successful in its limited, essentially 2-month run?
Well, listen, I think the Panthers have a billion QBs. I'm glad they got rid of Kyle Allen, sent him to Washington. But for how many ever weeks it was there for proof of concept, this is kind of like having a big 3 player. Like I think Joe Johnson got an NBA trial, almost signed with the team. But yeah, XFL player has no season pretty much, signed with the NFL. I consider that a huge success. What do you think?
I know for sure I watched a few XFL games. I'm sure you watched a few XFL games. I know a lot of people watch some XFL games. So I think that this is definitely a huge success for the XFL because it means that, not only that people were watching their games, but NFL scouts and NFL GMs, NFL people in the NFL front offices were watching their games. And, PJ Walker was, potentially going to be the MVP in the XFL. He was having a really good season, and I think the talent in the XFL, there's definitely a talent disparity, but I don't think that PJ Walker will necessarily, do terrible against NFL defenses. I think, signing him, keeping him on the bench, maybe just practicing with NFL caliber defenses in practice would be great for him, throwing him in a few preseason games. I think it's a huge win for the XFL, and they can start touting this, and hopefully more XFL players start to get signed into the NFL. And, I think that just increases the level of play in the XFL. It increases its legitimacy. And I was super happy, for those few months after the Super Bowl when the XFL was going on. It was great. Really enjoyed it.
I mean, I know for sure, like, some of my friends and I thought that, oh, the XFL is just going to be kind of like a meme. Like, people are just going to watch it when they have nothing else to watch. But this proof of concept showing that an XFL player can actually get an NFL contract, that's big. I mean, you think of players right now in the NFL, if they don't make it, like, they get discouraged. They don't really know what to do post-career. But having this opportunity to go to the XFL after being maybe released or undrafted, this opens up a whole new wave for athletes to kind of get their careers back on track.
Yeah, definitely. I think the number of insurance salesmen goes down significantly with the XFL, becoming more popular. But also, I think one option is that college players who, NFL teams might want them to stay one more year. They can, leave college, go to the XFL, and if there's a clear opportunity for them to get drafted or them to get signed by an NFL team, they can get paid while playing professional football. I think that's a great way for us to see the level of play in the XFL increase, is by these college players who, NFL scouts think, oh, they're like a 4th, 5th, 6th round pick. They need a few more years of development. They can instead go into the XFL, and that way the XFL's caliber, the XFL's level of play increases greatly, and we get to see some future NFL stars in the making in the XFL. They play for 1 or 2 years, move on to the NFL. Everyone becomes better that way. And, these players get paid. The NCAA isn't paying them. NCAA, if you're listening, pay your players. But, I think it's a great way for, the overall level of play to increase. And that's one potential avenue that could happen in the next few years as the XFL starts to become better.
Right on, right on. I mean, I just see this as a win for everybody involved in football.
Definitely. Shouts out to Oliver Luck, Andrew Luck's dad, for making the XFL a huge success and not the meme it was last time.
Hell yeah, man. All right, we got a little more serious news. Olympics, according to senior IOC official Dick Pound, most likely to be postponed. The United States say they will not attend if they still do happen, and I think they're just moved to 2021. So, Ani, what do you think the impact is on major sports, and what do you think the fallout from this is?
I think it's a good decision for the safety of the participants, the Olympians themselves. I think right now, the Olympics are scheduled to take place in July, but we simply don't know what the world is going to be like. And I think leaving so much uncertainty isn't good. So I'm really glad that, these IOC officials were able to come to some sort of consensus. Hopefully this will, be announced soon. The Olympics are usually budgeted for, especially in sports that sort of interfere in a sense with the Olympics, like in the NBA, they're budgeted for. So this might change some things, but I think the coronavirus and, this global pandemic is changing a lot of things and it's creating a lot of things that aren't budgeted for. I think, honestly, people will miss the Olympics. I love watching the Olympics. I'm going to miss the fact that Usain Bolt and Michael Phelps aren't there, but still. So I think, if anything, this will just lead to more people watching the Olympics. And I'm excited to see that they aren't canceling straight up. I think they're an important part of our culture. So I'm happy to see that it's going to happen in 2021, or at least that's what they're saying. So,
yeah, I mean, aside from all the social implications for this, just for the athletes, I mean, one of my friends was a gymnast, and she told me that gymnasts only have a certain prime that they're like super flexible, can do all these crazy things, and just adding on another year to this, I feel for them. I mean, they've trained their entire lives for this moment, and for it to be postponed 1 year, obviously circumstances out of their control with the global pandemic, but this is truly unprecedented. I don't think this is the first Olympics that's going to be on an odd year in God knows how long. I'm just thinking about all the weird things. This is the first time the Olympics have ever been
postponed in peacetime, even though, although we're in peacetime, I think we're at war with the coronavirus. But yeah, I agree. This really sucks for the athletes, especially those with limited time in their careers. Hopefully, the Olympic committees of each country and the actual Olympic teams will respect, what the teams are going to be. So I know a lot of Olympic teams have already started forming, or a few of them haven't formed yet. But if the Olympic team has formed for a specific sport, let's say gymnastics, I really hope the committee decides to respect that and not put on a whole new set of qualifying events to create a new team in a year. I think that'd be great for the athletes that have made the team right now, that they can go ahead and represent their country in the future. So hopefully that does happen. Hopefully everything's all right with all the athletes, and really hoping that no one loses out on going to the Olympics, which is literally a once in a lifetime opportunity for these athletes.
Yeah, on the other hand, for sports like basketball with players just like coming off of serious injuries, this gives them maybe another year to get their bodies right, get their mind right. And I know USA Basketball hasn't decided at all on like what the final roster is, even assuming if the Olympics happen this summer. But there's that side too, where people have more time to recover, more time to heal their bodies, kind of get right for this event. Just global.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have to see what's going to happen, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then in final sports news, the sports news has been kind of dry, but the NFL gave us some humor today. The Los Angeles Rams released their new logo uniforms and colors. They look like they've been made in Microsoft Paint. Tree, you were talking about, I 100% agree. And their colors look remarkably close to the LA Chargers colors. I'm confused. I get they play in the same stadium, but does that mean they need to share the same color too? Like, I'm really confused.
Well, listen, the Rams and the Chargers probably should start sharing fans too, because they don't have anyone going to their games, man. I mean,
maybe we could
this
share
is for sure
teams
not
as
going to
well,
help with that.
Share teams as well. They give us Jared Goff. We give him Keenan Allen. Yeah, it's not going to help. Maybe the future of sports is one super team per city. So, New York, the Jets and the Giants combined. And then, they share players. And then, the Rams and the Chargers combined. I think that's the future of the NFL.
Whatever happens, this logo is dumb as hell.
Wait, have you noticed in the past few... I mean, I know the Rams made the Super Bowl 2 years ago, but kind of right now, the Chargers, the Rams kind of suck. The Jets and the Giants kind of suck. Both big cities that have two, teams in the same city, both teams kind of suck.
Yeah, they suck, and then the Cowboys are always in some sort of turmoil, even when they're good. So, I don't know. The NFL's weird. Their big markets haven't truly succeeded since, like, Eli winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, Saquon Barkley's a big grab to that, but, we'll see if the New York and LA teams start to become better. Those are usually premier sports towns, and New York's been struggling on almost all fronts other than the Yankees. But at least the Lakers and Clippers have a good rivalry going, so that's good for LA. But yeah, so now it's time to move on to everybody's favorite segment, Rank That. This time we have something different.
Yep. So we have, instead of our usual, or not usual, we've done like one episode, but instead of power ranking something, we've kind of set up like an NCAA style bracket in honor of March Madness, since it's been canceled thanks to coronavirus. But we're not ranking college basketball teams, and we're not doing the tournament for them. So we've taken the current NBA players, top 64, and we've agreed on a bracket set by both of us of 64 players in the NBA, 32 from the Western Conference, 32 from the East. And we generally didn't include injured players like Steph, KD, Clay, Kyrie, like Kelly Oubre, players like that. And we just kind of did like a March Madness tourney for whatever rankings we came up with. And when deciding between two players, the key thing we did was like, who's the better player right now? We're not doing like a legacy vote or like how big they've been in the last like 4 years, 5 years. We just did this season and who would be better in an individual matchup, not considering team, not fit, nothing, coachability, nothing. It's just how good are you against the other player? So,
and we're going to be posting this online as well. We'll post a link to it. I really don't know how we're going to do that, Shree, but we'll figure it out. We don't have a website yet. We'll figure it out. But by the time we post this episode, don't worry. Yeah, we'll figure something out. Maybe it'll be on Shree's Twitter. Who knows? That's a good idea. We should have planned this ahead of time, but it's going to be somewhere so you can see it. But we'll be talking through our entire bracket. We'll be telling you what seed is playing what seed, and hopefully you'll be able to figure it out through that. But yeah, you want to go ahead and start, Shree?
Yeah, you want to start with West A?
Yeah, let's go with West. So I mean, there's 32 players in the West and 32 players in the East. We kind of arbitrarily divided it up, players between A and B. Didn't really matter. So, you know, just to, hopefully educate you guys on our thought process. Kawhi is the number one seed in the West A, and LeBron is the number one seed in the West B. So that's the kind of way we did it. So, yeah, so starting off with West A, the first matchup.
Yeah, so why don't we let's do the round of 64 first, and then we'll just keep going from there. All right?
Yes, in the West A, the first matchup is between the number one seed in the West A, Kawhi, and the number 16 seed, D'Angelo Russell. I think it's pretty obvious that Kawhi wins here. D'Angelo Russell's been battling through, a few injuries, but also just hasn't been playing his best basketball this season. Kawhi, on the other hand, has been doing great this season. So,
Yep. Shout out to D'Lo's floater game, though. I mean, I haven't seen someone in the NBA with like that kind of touch on just random floaters, mid range, near the paint. We'll give some props to his offensive game. I like D'Lo,
no,
but
I mean,
he's
D'Angelo
facing a
Russell is a
juggernaut
great
right now.
offensive player, but yeah, I agree. Not
All
doing
right,
his best, but yeah.
Yeah, the next matchup is the 8-9 matchup, and that's Karl Anthony Towns and Zion Williamson. So this one was tough because I thought about all factors regarding Cat's size, Cat's outside shooting. He has somewhat of a post game, not necessarily great, but I mean, he's 7 feet tall, so that has to count for something. And then you think of Zion, who hasn't even played. I think he's barely played 20 games, and he's already being talked about like what he's going to be one of the future greats. Like people are comparing him to like LeBron's rookie year. And I think when you take Zion's athleticism, ability to finish at the rim, his second jump, I I think he would smack Cat in a one-on-one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're talking about November or December of this year, Karl Anthony Towns would be the clear favorite. I know Zion Williamson didn't play, much until very recently, but still, Karl Anthony Towns was having a great season until 2020 came along, and he's really not been doing that great compared to his earlier performance in the season. So I think Zion has really stepped up ever since he started to play. You know, it was a bit hard for him in the beginning. He was getting limited minutes, but as he started to play more and more, you could see why he was, so hyped since he was in high school. He's a great player, and I definitely think that Karl Anthony Towns would not fare well against Zion Williamson right now, considering Karl Anthony Towns has kind of just dropped off a cliff in the past few months. So, yeah, Zion has been doing super well, so he definitely should deserve to move on.
I think part of Cat's decline also is like he's had some injury problems second half of the season, and he's going through some new players in his system. He's figuring out some things with D'Angelo Russell. I think both of them just got healthy when the season got suspended, or more Cat. D'Lo was playing a bit already, but I had a question for you. What do you think is more of a disadvantage in that matchup? Cat's size against Zion, or like Zion's ability to like Cat's inability to stay on the perimeter? Who do you think is more at a disadvantage?
I don't. Wait, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? Because
Let me rephrase that.
You said two of Cat's disadvantages.
Yeah. Okay, so when Zion, when he's trying to like post up, drive, Cat has size. So I would say that's obviously a disadvantage for Zion. But then when you think of Cat's inability to like guard perimeter guys.
Oh, okay. I got it. I think Cat's size definitely could pose a problem to Zion. Although Cat isn't as necessarily strong as Zion Williamson is, he definitely does have the size advantage in terms of pure height. I think that definitely does make a difference considering we haven't seen Zion Williamson be that great of a shooter for a while, ever since his Duke days. He can't shoot. I'm not saying he can't shoot, but I still think that it might be difficult for Zion. I still think Zion would win a one-on-one matchup, but I still think it'll be difficult for Zion to overcome Cat's height. You have to be a little bit more creative than he usually is of just sort of elbowing his way in a sense of, just backing people up and going into the paint.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right. You want to move on to the 5-12 matchup?
Yeah, so the 5-12 matchup, the number 5 seed is Gobert, Rudy Gobert, the person who got her season canceled, so thank you. And the number 12 seed is Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets, so sort of Denver-Utah matchup here. Who do you have going on between these two players?
Yeah, I kind of easily picked Murray just because it's a guard center matchup, which is kind of a mismatch. And I'm just talking about in a one-on-one sense.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I honestly was gonna pick Gobert, but then I just couldn't pick Gobert based on what he did to us in terms of, you
Hey
know,
man, that's so out of his control. But honestly, fuck
he
him.
no, he was being irresponsible and touching the mics and making fun of this whole thing. He's the reason the season got canceled. But all joking aside, I do think Jamal Murray is kind of underrated. He's a great shooter when he's making his shots, and he's really athletic. And I think although Gobert is arguably the best defensive player in the NBA right now, I still think Jamal Murray could use his quickness and speed as an advantage. And Gobert isn't as much of an outside threat as some other big men like Karl Anthony Towns, like Jokic. So I definitely think that Jamal Murray wins this matchup, but I think it's a lot closer than people would think it might be.
Yeah, I think Gobert's defensive versatility it's improving. Like before, he couldn't stay out on guards, but now he moves his feet well, and he's I think in the past 6 years the best defensive player in the NBA aside from Kawhi. So that has to count for something in that matchup. But I still think Murray wins. He's been having fun lately on Instagram. I don't know if you saw that. All the news with Jamal Murray like posting explicit like weird ass stuff on Instagram.
Yeah, I heard about it. Glad I didn't see it, but yeah, let's let's move on from Jamal Murray.
All right, we got the 4-13 matchup. Jokic being the 4 seed, Will Barton, his teammate, the 13 seed. Who do you have? I feel like this is pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's Jokic, no questions asked. Jokic is one of the best players in the NBA. At the beginning of the season, we considered a top five talent. I think he's kind of tailed off a little bit. He's not been performing as well he's hyped up to be, but still, I think he is a great player. So for
I
sure,
think
Jokic.
he definitely started off the season like at least for his expectations like poorly, but I think after November he's been on a tear. Like I think right now he would legitimately be in the top 6 for MVP voting if I had him, if I had a vote. But
Yeah, I agree, but at a certain point before the season started, I thought he might be an actual like legitimate number one, number two, number three contender for the MVP.
that's
So I
true.
think, based on the expectations, he's fallen off a little bit. Not to say he isn't a top 10 player, I still think he is, but just based on how high his expectations were coming in from last season.
Hmm.
So obviously he not that he's seen a decline, but he hasn't lived up to his hype, but I still think he's a great player and he'd obviously beat Will Barton in this matchup. So yeah.
Yeah, agreed. All right,
So
let's.
the next matchup is where we have a little bit of disagreement. So it's the 6th seed Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns against the 11th seed Lou Williams. You chose Lou Williams to move on. I'd prefer Devin Booker in this scenario. So tell me, why'd you choose Lou Williams?
Listen, man, this 6-11 matchup is so tough just because both players are so crafty, whether it's off the ball or on the ball. But if you're talking a one-on-one, both players have the handles, both players have the outside shot, both players can get to the rim. This 11-6 looks like a mismatch from seeding, but these two players are so close in terms of like a one-on-one setting. I just think Lou will because he's so crafty on offense in the sense that there's no spot for him that's a bad spot. He has these like weird leaning jumpers. I've never seen him like flat-footed taking a shot. He's always moving, does these things off the wrong leg when he drives. He's really small but finishes great amongst big guys. I don't know. Honestly, this is a toss-up, but I took Lou just because if we're talking mano y mano one-on-one, I have to go Lou, man. I have to go Lou. Why do you take Booker?
I think Booker is one of the best scorers in the NBA, and I also think his defense is kind of underrated. I love Devin Booker. He emulates a lot of qualities from a lot of great players, and I know he looks up a lot to Kobe Bryant, and he emulates some of that in his game as well. But I just think he is extremely crafty, just like Lou Williams. I think his age and his speed compared to Lou Williams are what, in my opinion, give him an advantage. And I think as of right now, he is a better scorer than Lou Williams. Not to say that Lou Williams isn't a great player, he definitely is, and I agree. On the face, a 6-11 matchup might not be super tough, but in this situation, it's very close. But I just want to give it to Devin Booker because I think he's one of the best players in the NBA right now, and I think he's a top three scorer, you know, among the likes of people like James Harden and Russell Westbrook in terms of pure scoring ability. So I
You
think
think
he
Devin
wins
Booker's
in a
a
one on one
top 3
matchup.
scorer?
I think he's number 3. I think it goes Harden, Westbrook, Devin Booker. In terms of pure scoring, for sure.
Hold up.
Please tell me a
I need
person
to
who's
check
better at
something.
purely scoring.
You don't think Beal's a better scorer than Booker?
No, I think Devin Booker is literally the 3rd best like pure shooter, pure scorer in the NBA.
How about give me Trae Young?
No, I think Booker's better. But hey, Trae Young's like getting close, but
Tatum?
no, for sure not.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue Booker or Lou. I think it's a toss up. You can't go wrong with either guy. But
No, I
top
agree.
3 scorer in the league, man.
No, 100%, no doubt. He is great. The Phoenix
All
Suns
right.
have
Well,
an amazing
our
player.
next matchup brings up who I think is a top 3 scorer in the league in Damian Lillard versus PJ Tucker at the 14. So I mean, I feel like we both have Dame for this.
Yeah, PJ Tucker has no business doing anything against Damian Lillard.
Hey, shouts to PJ though, man. That Rockets team with no center. I mean,
Yeah,
I
playing a
know
5.
they
Good
tailed off
job, PJ
towards the
Tucker.
end, but
And his shoot game is on point. But
he's opening up a store.
yeah, I did hear that. Might not be the best time to open up a store, but good for PJ Tucker, the entrepreneur.
I hope he opens it after all of this.
Yeah.
Man's got crazy shoe game.
So then we have another matchup where we have some disagreement. It's the number 7 seed Ja Morant versus the number 10 seed De'Aaron Fox. You chose De'Aaron Fox to go ahead. Why did you choose the budding Sacramento King star?
This one was tough. I wanted to go Ja, but I just think Fox's overall offensive game right now is just more polished. Like when he first came into the league, he didn't have a great outside shot. Even in Kentucky, it wasn't that great, but he worked on it, and I think he's shooting near league average in terms of 3-point shooting now. And I don't know. I just see a more polished, well-rounded offensive game from Fox on a consistent nightly basis than Ja. I mean, Ja's been great. He reminds me of young Derrick Rose. He's one of the most exciting players we have in this league. He's going to be a future All-NBA guy, All-Star type player. And there's nothing wrong with picking Ja for this matchup. But if you're talking one-on-one, I have to go Fox right now.
For me, this matchup's all about defense in terms of who I think could stop the other player. And I think Ja Morant could easily stop De'Aaron Fox more than De'Aaron Fox could stop Ja Morant. I agree that De'Aaron Fox is, definitely polished up his offensive game. He's a much better player than he was when he was drafted. But I think Ja Morant's explosiveness on both sides of the ball, and I think his size and athleticism definitely give him the advantage here compared to De'Aaron Fox. And I think I'd rather have Ja Morant on my team, and I overall think Ja Morant could beat De'Aaron Fox in a one-on-one matchup.
I think Fox's defense is mad underrated, though. I mean, he's usually in the top 15 for steals, and
His steals
he
are
has
good. I
active
think
hands. He gives max effort on a nightly basis. If we're talking defense, yeah, I'd give Ja the slight edge in that regard, but in a one-on-one, I don't know. This one's tough. This one's weird.
definitely, but I think it's a close matchup either way you look at it.
Mm-hmm. All right,
So
for our next
let's
one,
move on to the next matchup, which is James Harden versus LaMarcus Aldridge. No contest here. Let's just move on. Everybody knows the answer is
oh, just to go over some of the seeding stuff. So that Ja Fox matchup was the 7 and 10, and the Harden Aldridge matchup is the 2 and the 15.
yes. So I think it's very clear, even to people that don't really follow basketball, that James Harden is one of the best players. So easily James Harden. Sorry, Spurs fans.
He's the most unwatchable superstar, I think, in the last 10 to 15 years.
I agree. And we'll talk more about James Harden as this progresses.
Yup.
So, yeah, then we go to the West B.
Yeah, let's move to West B. You want to talk first matchup?
Yeah, so it's LeBron James versus... Why'd you put him as a 16 seed, dude?
I mean, I was just going this based off of, like, my top 100 player rankings.
Yeah.
So what I did was, like, I alternated West. So the first best West player would go in West A, and then the next one would go in B, and then the next one back in A. So it was just like an alternating thing, and he ended up 16th here.
Yeah, no contest. It's LeBron James.
I want to credit Montrez for his defense, though. I feel like he'd make LeBron work for his win.
Okay, it's Montrez, dude. It's LeBron versus Montrez. I don't think it's that much of a contest.
I'm not arguing Montrez going to win this matchup. I'm just saying, like, if we're talking like a game to 11, I think it would be like a long 11-1 game.
Okay, sure. I don't agree with you, but okay.
Y'all hating, man.
Yeah.
All right, the next one. Okay, I have a weird. I mean, okay, did you pick PG? This one's PG at the 8 versus DeRozan at 9. You pick PG, right?
Yeah, but like I feel bad for DeMar DeRozan because I feel like he doesn't really get the credit he deserves. But it's Paul George, right?
DeMar's footwork is ridiculous. I haven't seen an offensive player like have that mastery of the mid range and footwork since Kobe.
Definitely, and I love the way DeMar DeRozan plays, but it's just it's Paul George. I mean, he's great on both offense and defense. So,
yeah, the defense really
there's nothing
sold
you
it.
can really say other than it's Paul George. So
Paul George is probably the smoothest player in the league. Just watching him.
Really sad he didn't come to the Lakers, but whatever.
Man, you already have AD and LeBron. You don't get greedy.
I wish we had. Actually, no, I like AD and LeBron.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So the next matchup we have is Donovan Mitchell at the 5 seed versus Shai
Gilgeous-Alexander.
I don't know how to say the first
Shai?
part of his last name. No.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Gilgeous, there we go. That's what it was, yeah.
Gilgeous.
SGA, as the acronym is. I think it's both of us chose Donovan Mitchell for this, and yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear, Shai has definitely improved his game, but Donovan Mitchell's also improved his game, and I think
first time All-Star.
he'd easily, yeah, exactly. I think he definitely has the upper hand in this matchup.
Yeah, Mitchell's overall offensive game is solid from his 3-point shot. His ridiculous hops. I mean, I remember when he was a rookie, he had this crazy putback dunk at home. Forgot who he was playing, but I think that was like my wake-up call to like, holy shit, this guy's amazing. And SGA, I mean, props to him. He and CP have been playing really well next to each other in OKC. I really like what that team is doing, but yeah, Mitchell for this, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So the next matchup is again one of those where you look on paper and it's painfully obvious who's going to win. Russell Westbrook versus Danilo Gallinari.
That's teammate on teammate crime right there. Or ex-teammate. Ex-teammate.
Yes, ex-teammate. But I think, although...
Were they ever teammates?
No,
No. Man, I hate that Westbrook's not on OKC, man.
Oh, yeah, he got traded before the season started. Never mind.
Yeah. That always trips me up.
It's so weird seeing him playing the color of red.
I know.
But, yeah. I think it's pretty easy. Although Russell Westbrook isn't as great as his MVP season, is still doing a pretty good job and easily beat Danilo Gallinari. So
I have a question for you about Russ.
Yeah, sure.
You like him?
As like a individual or as like a player?
No. Like you know how people hate Harden?
Yeah.
Do you hate Russell that same way?
I think I have my issues with Russell Westbrook. I think it really just boils down to the way he plays basketball. Like, it kind of reminds me of the way the guys who, like, if you ever play pickup, the guys that are really good play, like, they, like, expect to do everything. And, like, although they, like, get a lot of assists, it's like they aren't really assists, like the way other people would give assists,
You
it's
mean
not like
when
a Steve Nash type assist. It's like a
you mean
Russell
when
Westbrook type assist.
When Westbrook needed a rebound and Steven Adams would just let him get the rebound? You're talking about those type of rebounds?
Yeah, I really hate. I mean, there was a scene during a Rockets game earlier in the season where either Russell Westbrook or James Harden needed like a rebound to have 10 rebounds, and then some other teammate grabbed it. I think it was PJ Tucker, and like they were mad at themselves for getting the rebound because either Russell or Harden should have gotten the rebound for the triple double. Like that kind of basketball just makes me mad. I mean, like, I think it even frustrates some Rockets fans watching the games, like the way Harden and Westbrook play. So it's frustrating to me. He's a great player. There are some people I know who are diehard Russell Westbrook fans. I just don't like the way he plays the game. But
So before the All-Star break, people were like iffy about him being an All-Star. I mean, he had the numbers, but people didn't feel like he had as much of an impact on that Rocket team as Harden or honestly even PJ Tucker, just for all that he did. But since the All-Star break, the guy's been like possessed. I mean, this is probably the best I've seen Westbrook play before the season got suspended. But he was sharing the ball effectively, like all the floor spacing gave him driving lanes. He always plays relentlessly. Like I think that's one thing that should never be questioned about him. But
yeah, I mean, the kid has heart, and I think the no center
kid.
PJ Tucker at 5 type deal was actually kind of helping Westbrook. He was playing super well before the season got suspended. A lot of my friends that were Rockets fans were pretty happy about that. So, yeah, I mean, he's an undeniably great player. I just don't like to watch him play a lot of the times because it just makes me mad. It frustrates me. But I think it's an undeniable feat, averaging a triple double the entire season. Legendary performance, but at the same time, yeah, I think overall I just don't like the way he plays. But he's a great basketball player, so that's undeniable.
yeah, that's fair. All right, we got to start speeding through some of these more obvious ones, just so we don't bore our listeners or.
I think that if they're listening so far, they must think that either we're actually interesting or they have literally nothing better to do. But I agree.
I'm gonna go with the second option for now, but we'll see.
Yeah. So the next matchup is the number 6 seed Brandon Ingram versus Bojan.
Bojan
So, fine, Bojan.
Bogdanovich.
Yeah, I think it's easy to go with Ingram in this situation, playing a lot better this season
Yep.
and doing a great job.
Glad he recovered from that like heart problem in the offseason.
Yeah.
He's putting up numbers
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and then the next matchup is the number 3 seed Luka Doncic versus CJ McCollum. Luka Doncic is one of the best players in the NBA right now. For sure, an easy win for him.
I think that game
One
would
of the
be
best
closer than you
all-rounder
think, though.
players.
I think that game would be closer than you think.
I think it would, but still, I think Luka Doncic is one of the best players in the NBA. I really love Luka Doncic, so
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to argue Luka.
yeah. And then
All
we
right,
have the number 7 seed CP3 Chris Paul against the number 10 seed Drew Holiday. You went ahead and chose Drew Holiday. I was very surprised by that. Could you explain your thought process?
At this stage in Chris Paul's career, he's not nearly the same defensive player as he was before when he was consistently making all defensive teams. Whereas Drew is 29, a monster on the defensive end, and has a very underrated offensive game. I think that was kind of overshadowed by AD and all, like kind of the whole situation happening last year with sitting out games, but no one talks about how good Drew Holiday is. And I think if he was, I like to do this thing where like if you switch CP3 and Drew Holiday, how would the teams perform? I think the Thunder perform similarly, while the Pelicans do slightly worse with a fully healthy roster.
I'd actually go ahead and slightly disagree with that. I think, although this hasn't been CP3's old New Orleans team or even him on the Clippers, he's been doing pretty well this season.
No,
He's
of course.
been one of the best clutch performers in the NBA this season. And I think, we saw him basically dunk this season for, one of the first time in a long time. I think, although he's getting up there in age, he's still a great player. And I think, although I give a lot of credit to Drew Holiday, it's Chris Paul. In a team situation, I think Chris Paul's the better passer. He's one of the great minds of basketball, but I think in general, he's very crafty, criminally underrated on offense. And I just think he'd win this matchup. He's a lot smarter than Drew Holiday, and I think he'd definitely take advantage of that. But yeah.
We can table that. We can table that one. Let's move on to our last one.
Yeah, it's AD versus Kristaps Porzingis, a 2 seed AD versus a 15 seed Porzingis, but a lot closer. These two are evenly matched, in terms of size and height and playing style.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty obvious that, AD would win this matchup. He's one of the best players in the NBA. His defense has been crazy good this season, but a lot closer of a matchup than most people would think.
I mean, if there's anyone who can get a shot up over 80 consistently, it would be Porzingis.
Oh, 100%.
7-3 with 3-point sniper stroke. That'd be a fun matchup to watch.
Definitely would. Then we have in the East. We'll start from the top and go to the bottom. Let's really
All
try
right,
and speed through this.
this one should. I think the East side should be more obvious with some of these.
Oh, 100% agree. The East is terrible.
All right, you want to start with the 116? It's Giannis, the 1 seed for the East side A versus Fred VanVleet.
Wait, are you sure Van Fleet isn't the 1 seed?
Oh yeah, dude. I think I made a mistake. Yeah, VanVleet advances, proving that Giannis is an overrated player, should not be considered for MVP. Isn't one of the top 3 players in the league. Nah, we're going Giannis. We're going Giannis. All right, next.
Zach LaVine at number 8, the number 8 seed versus Malcolm Brogdon at the number 9 seed. Brogdon's had a great season so far, but I think I have to give this one. I know you agree to Zach LaVine just in terms of athleticism. You know, I think he's overall a better player in a one-on-one matchup.
Yep, athleticism, refined offensive game. I think Brogdon defensively slightly better, but yeah, there's too many mismatch issues with that.
Yeah. Then the next matchup, Ben Simmons, number 5 seed versus the number 12 seed Serge Ibaka. I went ahead and chose Ben Simmons for this just because I thought his all-around game would definitely benefit and over Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka, played some of his best basketball in the playoffs, but still, I think I would rather have Ben Simmons on my team, but also just I think Ben Simmons might win this matchup.
So I would agree with you when you say Simmons has a better all-around game, but that doesn't matter if you're just playing one-on-one, in the sense that both of them are elite defenders. I think Simmons is. If the season wasn't suspended, he would have made an all-defensive team, and he very likely still could if the NBA comes back. And I think Ibaka has the ability to stay with Simmons, especially because Simmons doesn't shoot from outside of 10 feet. So we know Ibaka is just going to patrol the paint, make sure everything Simmons takes is like a tough contested shot. And Ibaka has shown pretty good floor spacing ever since coming to Toronto. I know he had that little mid-range in OKC, but he didn't really fully start utilizing his jumper until he came to the Raptors. So I think Ibaka in the upset here. Simmons definitely would be a tough match. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but then the next matchup is a cakewalk, I think. It's number 4, Trae Young versus the number 13 seed, Eric Bledsoe. I think Trae Young, one of the best shooters in the NBA, one of the best young players in the NBA, takes this easily.
Yep. No contest. Bledsoe's a dog defensively, but Trae Young's so crafty.
Shouts to triangle, dude. Shouts to triangle.
He's so crafty.
Yeah, then we go to the number 6 seed, Kyle Lowry, versus number 11 seed, Andre Drummond. I think Kyle Lowry is having a great season coming off, his championship run last year.
He's going to be the most low-key Hall of Famer that no one talks about.
We'll see about Hall of Famer, but I think he's having a great season so far. And I think he could beat Drummond in this matchup. That's all I have to say on the subject matter of Kyle Lowry at this point in time.
Again, no one talks about it. Yeah, let's move on.
Okay.
We got Jason Tatum against former MVP, NBA darling, everyone's favorite player's favorite player, Derrick Rose.
Which sucks that Derrick Rose has to lose this matchup, but yeah.
I mean, you hate to see it, but Tatum's just been on another level this season, showing he is a future superstar.
Yeah, showing the Celtics were right to pick him.
Yep. No questions there. All right.
Good job, Danny.
The 7-10 matchup, we have Bam Adebayo and Nikola Vucevic. I went Bam here.
Yeah, Bam here too, I think. Besides having a better name, I think just a little bit more of a versatile game.
Mm-hmm.
Better on defense.
So smart. He's one of the smartest centers I've seen in the league right now.
Yeah. Underrated in terms of the way he moves around the floor and how that affects his teammates around him.
Very good passer. I mean, that doesn't matter, but just wanted to talk about that.
I think he's a great passer for a center.
Bam takes that. We got the 2-15 matchup. We have Pascal Siakam versus Goran Dragic.
Siakam's been on another level this year. It's been crazy to watch. It's been cool to watch.
You would think after they lost Kawhi, they would have issues, and Siakam just kind of plugged that. He plugged that hole.
I know. He's been great. And, Dragic has been pretty good this season, but Siakam has been truly one of the best players this season. Easily top 10. A lot of people have been arguing the second best player in the East. So, yeah.
One thing I think he needs to start working on is a little more of like his isolation scoring. I think that's one thing they do miss about Kawhi. But I think with Toronto's system, the way Nick Nurse has all those guys playing, with Norman Powell playing well again, all their role players are just so good. I think Siakam really has his chances to thrive, showing that he's like a well-deserved all-star starter. I love the guy. I think he's Kawhi with personality for that team.
I think that Toronto Raptors team is a pretty good team, and they're really making up for the loss of Kawhi.
Yep.
It would have been really cool to see what they would have been like in the playoffs. Hopefully we'll have a playoffs this year, and, we'll get to see what they're like. But Siakam's doing great.
Mm-hmm. All right. You want to start? All right, now we're on the East B side. That wrapped up our East A side of the bracket. You want to talk about the 116?
Yeah, so the 1 seed is Joel Embiid. The 16 seed is George Hill. Easy win here for both of us, I think, to give it to Embiid. But yeah, pretty easy win, as we said. For the number 8 and 9 seed, Spencer Dinwiddie versus Gordon Hayward. I went ahead and chose Gordon Hayward. You chose Dinwiddie.
I think this one's really close. I think with Dinwiddie, you have a scorer at all three levels with better ball handling than Gordon Hayward, and I think that's where the one-on-one advantage comes in here, because neither of them are poor defenders, but neither of them I would consider elite defenders either. And with this matchup, I think it's just who gets by the other, because both of them have the shot, both of them have semi-reasonable defensive skill. This one's close. I kind of just took
really
Dinwiddie.
Close, and I really like Spencer Dinwiddie. I had him on my fantasy team a few years ago when he started getting good, so I've been on the hype train for a while. But for me, I think Gordon Hayward is really a good player, underrated. I think he would just win based on. I think they're pretty equal in almost every category. I just think Gordon Hayward would edge him out. But
if you include Gordon Hayward's hair, yeah, he wins.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, then we have the number 5 seed Kemba Walker versus the number 12 seed Evan Fournier. I think it's pretty clear Kemba Walker wins this matchup. He's been having a pretty good season so far.
Mm-hmm. All-star starter, stabilizing that Celtics team after a really rocky last season.
Yeah.
Kind of showed that they really didn't need Kyrie.
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of teams are finding out they don't really need Kyrie, but...
Poor Kyrie, man. It's his birthday today. He donated a lot of money. He's still a good guy.
Good job. Happy birthday, Kyrie. Thank you for donating.
Yeah,
I think it was $250,000, something like that, to fund 250,000 meals.
Meals for people in Brooklyn, I think.
In New York, yeah. So thank you,
Kyrie.
New York, yeah. No hate on Kyrie, except a lot of hate on Kyrie. But
sponsor us, Kyrie.
Please sponsor us. Then we have the number 4 seed Chris Middleton against the number 13 seed Marcus Smart. Chris Middleton is critically underrated player. Easily takes this.
I think if Middleton, if the season played out, Middleton would probably be in consideration for like third team All NBA or something.
Yeah,
I think he's
definitely
Giannis's ideal running mate as a secondary option.
Yeah, then we have the 6th seed Dennis Sabonis. Is his first name Dennis? Domantas Sabonis versus the number 11 seed John Collins. I like Sabonis. I think he's a really good player. I had him for, I think, 2 years in a row on my fantasy team. He got injured one of those years, but I really like Sabonis. I think his game has improved a lot recently.
Yeah,
he's definitely become a lot better and one of the best players in the East.
Yeah, versatile. He's really good with both hands, primarily lefty. Has a really good drop step when he's working in the post. He has that good mid-range touch, starting to shoot a little from outside. I think Victor Oladipo's return was big for him just because he really liked playing with Oladipo the past 2 seasons before Oli got hurt. And I'm really excited for that Pacers team when they're all fully healthy, once the season hopefully gets back up.
A really good team, I agree, yeah. Good chemistry, too.
All right, next up we have the 3-14 matchup, which is Bradley Beal versus Julius Randle. And I think Beal takes this, huh?
Yeah, one of the best shooters in the NBA. Easily takes this.
A monster, man. He's my most underrated player in the NBA.
I love Bradley Beal. I just think... I just think Devin Booker is better than him. But yeah.
All right, we can talk about this off script, off, not even script, just off of this.
Yeah. Then we have the number 7 seed Jalen versus number 10 seed Tobias. Why do you think Jaylen Brown takes this?
I think Jaylen Brown's defense is better. Jaylen Brown now can score. Before he had very limited offensive game. He played at Cal. So
yeah,
I actually had a chance to go to one of his games, Cal Stanford, and he was very raw back then. He had insane athleticism, jumped out the gym, but could not hit a mid-range shot in a very tight game that mattered for seeding before the Pac-12 tournament. And
yeah, maybe like
now,
2 years ago I would have chose Tobias Harris, but now it's for sure Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, and I think Tobias is still underrated despite he has a massive contract and everything. It's just people don't really appreciate what he does for that Philly team, being like the only dude who can consistently score aside from Embiid. But yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Jaylen for this one.
Yeah. Then we have Jimmy Butler versus, who's the number 2 seed, versus Kendrick Nunn, the number 15 seed. I easily go Jimmy Butler. I think I would choose him as the second best player in the East over, people like Joel Embiid. I think he's doing amazing this season. He finally gets to bully people around. So,
you think they run this in practice? Butler versus Nunn?
oh, dude, for sure. I think Butler just asked to play people one-on-one in practice all the time. I would pay money to watch Heat practices.
Dude, Heat culture is something else, man.
Yeah. So
then insane.
Yeah, let's try and
let's
through this.
Zoom through some of these. All right, so we're done with our round of 64.
So in a round of 32, we have the number 1 seed Kawhi Leonard versus the number 9 seed Zion Williamson. It's a tough matchup here with Zion's size and athleticism, but I think it has to go to Kawhi, just based on his overall defensive prowess, his offensive playmaking abilities, and just the fact that he's the best player, one of the best players in the league right now.
I think he's the best isolation scorer in the NBA. And I know that's different than this one-on-one tournament. I'm just talking about like advanced stats wise. He has the most success scoring on an individual basis. And I'm giving it to the guy who hit a game-winning shot that bounced 4 times on the rim before going in.
Yeah, definitely. Then we have, in sort of your bracket, Jamal Murray versus Jokic. For me, it was Gobert versus Jokic, but I still think Jokic wins it over the both of them.
Yeah, Jokic for sure.
Yeah. Then we have, you had Lou Williams versus Dame. I had Devin Booker versus Dame, but, I still think Dame wins out. I think Dame...
Oh, you didn't pick your third purest scorer in the league?
Dude, okay. Dame's more clutch than Booker. His defense is better than Booker.
See, I don't know if his defense is better than Booker. They're both pretty poor defenders.
I think his defense is better than Booker.
Nah, I think they both try. That's what matters.
Yeah. Okay, just because Booker is a better scorer than Dame doesn't mean that Dame would not beat Booker.
So in a one-on-one where all your job is to score, you're not taking the third best scorer. This is your man. This is your man.
I think Dame is like number 4. I think it's hard to say, oh yeah, one-on-one matchup, Dame would lose to Devin Booker. Like, it's hard to say that. Yeah. So the next matchup for you, it's De'Aaron Fox versus James Harden. Me is John Morant versus James Harden, but I think James Harden wins this one.
Yeah, I don't think it matters who Harden plays here.
Yeah. Then we have LeBron versus Paul George. Kind of a close matchup, actually, but I think LeBron takes this one.
I almost took Paul George for this one.
No,
I really almost took Paul George for this one. I thought about their 2013 playoff series, like a bunch of those old Indiana-Miami series. Like, Paul George was giving it to LeBron on both ends. And then I remember LeBron, that one play, he got the ball at the top. I think they were down 1. There was like 8 seconds left. He just slipped by Paul George, got a layup at the buzzer, game.
Yeah, I think this is one of the closest matchups in this bracket, especially in this round, but I think LeBron takes it by just a little bit.
Yeah, man. I love Paul George's game.
Yeah, really good player. Then we have Donovan Mitchell versus Russell Westbrook. I think Russell Westbrook takes this easily.
Yeah, but if it's the playoffs, you take Mitchell.
Oh no, for sure.
All right,
Then we have
next up we got Brandon Ingram against Luka Doncic. Close
you
one.
chose Ingram. I chose Luka Doncic. I think Luka Doncic is a better overall player. I think he can lock down Ingram on defense and still score on offense.
You think he can lock down Ingram on defense? See, I had that same rationale, but for Ingram. I thought Ingram could lock down Luka because of his size, his mobility, and on offense he can get a shot up on Luka anytime he wants. So I just took it because Ingram and Luka both have the same capabilities scoring wise. Luka's probably a little more polished, more refined, but I don't know.
I'm a
This
pretty
one's
big
tough.
Luka fan. I think Luka would win this matchup for sure. Then we have Drew Holiday versus Anthony Davis. Pretty easy win for Anthony Davis. Or in my case, it was CP3 versus Anthony Davis, but still pretty easy win for Anthony Davis.
AD wins, but if Drew's just like super pissed at AD about leaving New Orleans, just like decides to like beat the hell out of him. Maybe like 1 out of 10 games Drew takes, but yeah, AD's dominating that matchup.
Yeah. Then we move on to the East. So we have Giannis versus Zach LaVine. I think Giannis takes this. Giannis takes it against almost anyone. So easily.
Wait.
LaVine.
I thought LaVine was the 1 seed.
Oh yeah, sorry, man. Big upset here, man. Sorry.
Why are we doing this to Giannis, man? Why are we just like unnecessarily shitting on him?
I like Giannis. I think you like Giannis a lot. Just a lot of people don't think Giannis is that good of a player. No idea why.
I know. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, then we have Ben Simmons / Serge Ibaka against Trae Young. I think Trae takes it, honestly. I think Trae's too good of a scorer.
Yeah.
You could put him at like outside the court, he'll still make buckets, so.
Like when Trae crosses half court, you got to start guarding him.
Literally.
It's absurd.
Yeah. Then we have Kyle Lowry versus Jason Tatum. Easy money on Jason Tatum.
Tatum.
A great player, so.
All right, next we have Bam against Siakam. Really close matchup here. I think I took Siakam just because he has kind of the same defensive capabilities as Bam with a slightly better offensive game. But if you're talking, all right, if I were to give you either of these players for the next 7 years, who would you take?
Bam.
I think I would take Bam as well.
Yeah. But I think this one-on-one matchup right now today, Siakam wins.
Yeah. All right, next up we have, on the East B side, we have Embiid against Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, sure. Spencer Dinwiddie could totally win this matchup. I actually think he might have a shot.
No, it started off as a joke, and then the more you thought about it, it's like,
if Embiid was injured, or like even Embiid, I mean, I think
if Embiid gave a damn, he would win this matchup.
Yes, but that doesn't happen all that often.
Have you seen Embiid like guards?
I mean,
I haven't watched enough
few switches,
YouTube
but
on
like,
Embiid guarding like perimeter players.
The 76ers do a good job of like switching back because I think Embiid might be vulnerable on guards, but in a one-on-one matchup, it's different.
They hide him well with Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
If you're the Sixers, do you trade?
Win, but
if you're the Sixers, who would you trade, Embiid or Simmons?
Embiid. I think longevity is a key, and Embiid doesn't have that many more years left in him.
I think so too. It's unfortunate because he started off his career not playing 1 year, injured, and then he's just been in and out of the lineup so much.
Yeah. I think Embiid has at most 3 more years left in him. 3 more good years, I mean. But yeah. Which is sad, but yeah. Then we have Kemba versus Chris Middleton. You took Kemba. I took Chris Middleton.
I'm taking the guy who has the best step back in NCAA history. UConn, Pittsburgh, Madison Square Garden. Iconic step back jumper.
Yeah, okay.
That's all I remember when I think of Kemba going one-on-one against the dude.
Didn't he go one-on-one against Adam Morrison in that game?
I think so. Was Morrison on that Pittsburgh team? Hold up, let me check.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Adam Morrison.
Wait. No, what? Dude, Adam Morrison played in Gonzaga. Hold on, I think you're thinking of someone else. It was another like random-ass dude, though. Hold up. Kemba Kemba Walker,
Morrison
Pittsburgh.
did
I
face
really
that.
don't know the name of the guy he shot it against, but yeah.
Kind of looked like Adam Morrison. Maybe it was Steven Adams.
Gary McGee, whoever the hell that is, but that's the guy.
Okay, I was wrong on both accounts.
Yeah, but
okay.
I mean, I don't know. I think Middleton's defense is definitely a factor here, but
Yeah.
Kemba's so shifty. He's a small guard. I think Middleton would have some problems containing him.
Yeah. I think it'd be a tough matchup, but I think Middleton would eke it out. Then we have Sabonis versus Bradley Beal. I think Bradley Beal easily takes this.
I don't know about easily, but yeah, Beal takes
No, I
this.
think easily. I think Bradley Beal is like Trae Young. He can shoot from almost anywhere.
I love Beal, man. I'm not going to stop loving... This is weird. Never mind, let's just continue.
Then we have Jaylen Brown versus Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler would beat almost any player one-on-one. It's kind of like just hearing the stories about him in practice is kind of scary. But
Yeah, like that. All right, give me all the subs. I'm going to take on the starters. Yeah, him on Minnesota was so fun.
yeah, I think Jimmy Butler easily takes that.
The thing is, I think Jaylen Brown is like Jimmy Butler 2.0 in the sense of like similar play style.
Playstyle, yeah, but the fire inside, definitely not.
No, Jalen's feisty, man. Jalen is extremely
I think he tries to
feisty.
act feisty. Jimmy Butler is feisty, but
Yeah. I think it's a close one. Jimmy wins like 11-8 or something.
then we have the Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. All right.
So we have Kawhi versus Jokic. I think it goes to Kawhi.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, Jokic. There's nothing to say about that matchup.
Yeah. Then we have Dame versus Harden, a super close matchup. One we've seen replicated a few times in the playoffs.
How
Dame's
close
come out
were
on
you to
top.
taking Dame?
What?
How close were you to taking Dame?
Like 51-49 and went to Harden.
Yeah.
I think purely because Dame like mentally has the upper hand over Harden. Like that buzzer beater against them.
Yeah, I just
With
think nothing
20
can phase Dame Lillard the way things phase Harden. But
Yeah, I agree. But it's James Harden.
it is
One of
James
the best
Harden. He
players.
is undoubtedly the greatest scorer in the NBA right now.
Yeah. Then we have LeBron versus Westbrook. Again, another tough matchup, but I think LeBron would take it.
LeBron
Just based on
destroys this matchup, man. I don't think Westbrook does a thing against LeBron. Westbrook's quick. LeBron has unbelievable reflex reaction time.
I think it's a lot closer than people would give Westbrook credit for, but I still think LeBron takes it. But
Westbrook would fight. This is such a mismatch just on paper.
yeah. Then we have AD versus Brandon Ingram. I think AD easily takes this.
Yeah, I mean, if they're probably both going to do a lot of their work in the post, and if that's the case, I think AD dominates that matchup. Because
Maybe
just
they should have
Brandon
had-
Ingram's got to put some weight on him.
Maybe they should have had AD and Ingram play each other before trading the two, just to see who would win. Then we know for sure who the answer was. But
Yeah, AD, just stay. We're gonna trade nobody and get Brandon Ingram in return.
then we have Giannis versus Trae Young. As much as I love Trae Young, I think Giannis would win, but I think it's very close.
I think Giannis destroys this matchup.
No, I think Trae Young could literally shoot, and Giannis like he just like do a little like dribble and go type deal, and like I think it'd be closer, but I think on offense like there's no chance Trae Young stops Giannis. That's the only thing. It's like
You think
Giannis
Giannis just
score
like
every single
bully
time.
balls him down to the post and just dunks all over him?
no, yeah,
like,
no, I agree,
11
like,
times.
if Trae Young misses one shot, the game is over.
It's over. That's the thing. I think that with this matchup, it's more about who starts.
Yeah. But I still think, like Trae Young's not going to make like 5-6 shots in a row.
Yeah,
in a
if
game
Trae takes a
when
layup,
Giannis is
Giannis is
guarding
like
him, so-
grabbing that ball.
Yeah.
He's not letting it get to the rim.
Then we have Jason Tatum versus Pascal Siakam. I think Tatum takes this one. I think it's a closer matchup than some people might believe, but I think Tatum takes this one. He's a better all-around player.
So when I was doing these, or before the bracket, I had all these players ranked in just like a 1 to 100. I mean, there were more players obviously, but I had like your typical power ranking. I had Siakam ahead of Tatum just based on this season, but
No,
I think
he's ahead of Tatum, but I think Tatum would beat him one-on-one.
yeah, no, but I think if you played out the rest of the season, by season's end, I'd probably have Tatum ahead of Siakam, even in terms of like overall play.
I think Siakam's really stepped up. I think Siakam would continue his projection of how good he's doing. But I just think Siakam's offense is not good enough to match up with Tatum. So, yeah. Then
Two great players, though.
Yeah. Then you have Embiid versus Kemba. I have Embiid versus Chris Middleton. You have Kemba winning out.
Yep.
I have Chris Middleton winning out. I think it's hard for Embiid to beat either of those players based on their quickness.
I think that's just a mismatch in terms of Embiid not being able to stay in front of his man.
Yeah. Then
so the one seed
Beal
goes
versus
down.
Jimmy Butler. You have Beal. I honestly have Jimmy Butler.
Listen, I'm not gonna argue Jimmy. Like I have like whatever you say, I'm not gonna say is wrong about Jimmy. So if you wanna present your case, go for it. I'll talk about Beal after.
I love Bradley Beal and he's a great scorer, but like in a 1-on-1 matchup, I think Jimmy Butler can literally take on anyone and beat them. Like he's scary good 1-on-1. So that's why I'm taking Jimmy Butler. And especially this season.
The problem with Jimmy is that once he misses a shot, I've noticed he kind of starts pressing to find his shot again. And in a tight 1-on-1 with another super elite scorer like Beal, Jimmy would probably start taking some ill-advised like mid-range twos, like contested threes. I don't know. Beal's overall offensive game kind of is more conducive to this 1-on-1 than Jimmy's. If you're talking who you'd want on your team, I'd probably go Jimmy. But in a 1-on-1, I don't know, man. This one's so tough. I don't care who wins this. Both of these guys deserve to win.
I'd rather have Beal on my team than Jimmy Butler, but I think Jimmy Butler wins it. But yeah.
So we're just polar opposite on this one. Does it eventually matter? We'll see. All right, let's go back to the West.
Kawhi versus Harden in the Elite Eight. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kawhi, but like, I think James Harden wins this one. But I think this was the hardest one in the entire bracket for me because Kawhi's defense is so good.
If they're going to, let's say the Elite Eight plays games to like 21, over under the deficit, what would you set it as for whoever loses?
Like 2.
It would be tight. This one would be a tight.
Like game. It would literally be like a win by 2 type deal.
Have they gone at each other in the playoffs? Kawhi and James, when Kawhi was on the Spurs? No, they did. They did that one year. Remember where the Rockets were up like 2-1 in that series and the Spurs won 4-2?
No, yeah, that's right. They did.
Where Harden had like his choke job?
Like he usually does, but...
I mean, that's what happens when you run in the Warriors like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, that's true. But a really close matchup. I was going to choose Kawhi, but I mean, I don't know. Since James Harden is really good 1-on-1, but this is the closest one for me.
I think this is must-see TV, Kawhi versus Harden.
Definitely. Then all LeBron versus AD, 2 teammates, 2 friends, 2 Taco Tuesday compatriots.
2 top 4 players in the league.
Yeah.
But there's only one LeBron.
Yeah, there's only one LeBron.
Yeah, that's all we can say about that. Sorry, AD. All your career is dependent on LeBron from this point on.
Then we have Giannis versus Tatum. You chose Tatum. I chose Giannis.
So this is where the Giannis disrespect comes in. And I'm not here to slander Giannis. The dude is insane. I don't think there's been a player like him before. I think he combines elements of Shaq. Who else? Dennis Rodman in terms of rebounding. He has the speed of a guard. He can handle the ball. He's worked on his shot. Has underrated passing vision. Insane defender. Scottie Pippen level defense. One of the best players this league will ever see. We are witnessing history in the making. I don't think he can score in a 1-on-1 against another big defender who could give him problems. What would he do? You can't back down Tatum.
Physical enough.
Huh?
I don't think he needs to. I think he has enough skills now in offense to be able to shoot around Tatum.
I don't think Giannis is
but
I don't think he's doing pull-up J's or anything.
Dude, I think Giannis can literally stop his dribble at the 3-point line and still find a way to shoot the ball. Take 2 steps, do some crazy thing, and make the point. I think Giannis is I think Giannis gets a lot of hate, man.
I don't even think he gets hate. Like, it's so weird.
Fine, okay. He doesn't get hate. I just think people are like, oh, Giannis is great. He's the MVP. But then, like, in a situation where it's Giannis versus Tatum, they're like, oh, Tatum for sure. Giannis can't score. Giannis can't play defense.
I'm not even saying this is for sure. I just, in a one-on-one, with Jason Tatum's offensive arsenal and improved defensive abilities, I think that style is more effective in just a 1v1. Now you're talking team basketball. There's no way in hell I'm taking Jason Tatum over Giannis. But
dude, just closing my eyes, I can imagine Giannis taking one dribble, taking 2 steps, and dunking it. But I don't care who's guarding him. Like, the only person that can stop him is Giannis.
Dude, if I can see Jason Tatum just has these like mid-range like pump fake.
Giannis's arms is so tall. It doesn't matter what he does. Can just jump from anywhere, and Tatum's vision might be obscured. I don't know. This is a close matchup. I'm not saying it's not a close matchup, and I respect you for choosing Tatum, but I think Giannis goes to the Final Four here.
Disclaimer: I don't hate Giannis. I love Giannis. He is one of my favorite players in the league to watch, to follow on Instagram. The dude is so funny. I'm sorry. Like, I apologize for this pick.
Then we have Kemba Walker, or you have Kemba Walker, I have Chris Middleton, you have Bradley Beal, I have Jimmy Butler. So for you, Kemba versus Beal, who do you have going on?
I pick Beal. I think just based on the size, they both score similarly. Kemba's probably a little shiftier, has amazing ability to finish at the rim over bigger guys. Beal's not that much bigger than Kemba, but I take Beal because of defense.
Yeah. For me, between Chris Middleton and Jimmy Butler, I went ahead and chose Jimmy Butler.
Butler stan over here.
Yeah. I mean, well, okay. I think regardless, I think whoever wins the Beal-Butler matchup beats Chris Middleton versus Kemba.
Or Kemba, yeah.
Beal-Butler beats Kemba-Chris.
Kemba-Chris. Yeah. All right, let's do duos because we can't agree on one for that. Okay, so we have our Final Four set. We have in the West, we have Harden versus LeBron. And it pained me to do this, but I took Harden.
As a Laker fan, it pained me to do this. And as a James Harden hater, it pained me to do this. But he's just really good, dude.
I hate him, man. Like, he'll do this annoying ass, like, little 4 dribble setup. He'll go 2 dribbles to the right, 1 dribble left, back to the right. And he'll do his, like, half travel thing and then always get a foul and 1 4-point play. Or if not, he's just past you at the rim. Yeah. I hate watching this guy play, but he's so damn good.
It's frustrating. And I don't know. You can tell by, like, the fact that I'm struggling to speak on him right now, how much I really hate putting him here, but yeah.
I love watching him play the Warriors because whether the Warriors are good or not, the Rockets will lose to the Warriors. Yeah. That's like written in NBA Constitution, like legislation, whatever is going on.
Sad for Warriors fans, but...
Huh?
Sad for Rockets fans, but...
Yeah, Clutch City, Choke City. But we're putting Harden in the finals. Like, we're putting Harden in the finals.
Where have they ever been clutch? Like Houston as a city. Like, I don't know why their nickname is Clutch City.
See, I mean, they were clutch when they were banging trash bins for Astro games. Hakeem was probably the last time that city was truly clutch.
Yeah. Well, they are pretty clutch when they launch spaceships and stuff, but...
Yeah, they're also clutch when they trade DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals. So.
Oh my god. Man, I feel bad for Rockets fans. They have nothing going for them right now. Or not Rockets fans, Houston fans, sorry.
We love you, Houston.
Rockets, NBA stop, but...
Oh, we love you, Houston.
Nothing to look forward to. I mean, hey, actually, they have the Rockets to look forward to. I regret that. Sorry, Houston fans. The Rockets are doing well this season.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so in the East, you have the matchup of Tatum versus Beal, and you chose Tatum.
Yeah. I don't know why I picked Jason Tatum for so much of this, but I thought of I played this match in my head. I saw Beal go off, miss a shot. Tatum went off. And then it just came down to when it's like, let's say we're in a 21, when it's like 18-18, who can stop the other dude? And I thought Tatum was a better defensive player. So I went Tatum.
Yeah. So for me, this matchup was Giannis versus Jimmy Butler.
When you put
Yeah,
it like
I chose
that,
Jimmy Butler
Giannis
for
is
this.
a clear favorite.
I chose Jimmy Butler for this. I don't know why I'm such a Jimmy Butler stan right now. Like, I just think he's really good one-on-one. I think there's only one player he can't beat one-on-one, and that's James Harden. But
I think Paul George kills him.
no, I think Jimmy Butler beats Paul George.
I think Jimmy Butler paid you.
I wish he paid me. Jimmy
I
Butler paid me.
I think he sponsored you.
He might be the second sponsor to this video, but I really think he is like one of the best one-on-one players. I think he's just gonna get really mad every single time and just like destroy Giannis.
It's like, did you say LeBron is better than me? Did you say KD is better than me? Just like starts
He's
going
gonna
off.
ask Giannis to bring out the subs and then still beat Giannis. Yeah. So then I think regardless of who we had coming out of the East, it pains me so much to say this. James Harden is, I wouldn't say he's the best player in the NBA, but I think he would beat any other player in the NBA one-on-one.
Yeah, I think his overall offensive game is unparalleled. Yeah. I think he can do everything that any of the other players in this league can do offensively. He can score with the best of them. He is the best of them offensively.
To make myself feel better, I'm going to go watch Shaqtin' a Fool highlights of James Harden being utterly useless on defense.
No, you know what you need to do? Just look up James Harden playoffs.
Ah, yes. That is true. Yeah, it pains me to say this, but James Harden, congratulations. You're the winner of our We Are Bored 64 NBA Player Bracket March Madness style tournament. Congratulations, Rockets fans who get some comfort in knowing that two James Harden haters still think James Harden is one, if not the best one-on-one player in the league.
This is proof that not everybody hates Harden. Daryl Morey, you can stop always campaigning for this dude to an MVP. People respect him. People know he's elite. He's a top 5 player in the league. Maybe top 4. We just don't like him. We really just don't like him. And that's all it boils down to.
I am not hiding my James Harden hate, but yeah. So that was our Rank That segment. Hope you guys liked it. I know it was a bit long, but it's an interesting basketball conversation for y'all. Finally, we do have a few things to go over in extra time. One thing is these local sports TV channels are replaying old sports games. We had Lincecum's no-hitter on NBC Bay Area. We had Duke versus Kentucky back in 1988, I think the year was.
Incredibly,
the legendary Christian Laettner performance. So
after that game, Laettner actually made the dream team.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Over Isaiah Thomas.
I know. He was like one of the only white guys on that team, other than Larry Bird.
I know there's beef between Isaiah and... Is it Larry Bird?
Wait, was Larry Bird even playing in '92?
No, it was whatever those Olympics were.
It was '92 Olympics was the dream team. I don't think Larry Bird was on that team.
Someone made the team and Isaiah got left off.
No, it was for sure Christian Laettner that got left off.
No, but the beef wasn't between Laettner and Isaiah.
It was Laettner versus Laettner over O'Neal.
Oh no, yeah, that was a separate issue. But I know USA basketball always takes like one like top player from a college like national championship winning team or something. Like, I remember AD was on this like crazy like KD.
Larry Bird
LeBron.
was on the dream team.
Huh?
Larry Bird was on the dream team.
Yeah, Larry Bird was. I think that's the beef, Larry and Isaiah.
Didn't read that much into that, but yeah, Christian Laettner shouldn't have been on the dream team, is my argument.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that shot was crazy.
No, the shot was crazy. So, more of the story is we are bored without sports, but we're getting by rehashing old flames, old feuds.
Yep.
And finally,
some of the ways we've been doing that is by just, as Ani was going to say, like watching random Random highlights on TV, Twitter. Ani, you want to talk about what you saw?
Yeah, it's crazy. People are posting highlights of random players like Lou Amundsen.
Dude, hustle and bustle in Lou Amundsen, dude.
We used to make fun of his name.
Remember Preston?
I'm not sure if you do. Do you remember this? As kids, we used to make fun of his name.
Huh?
As kids, we used to make fun of his name whenever we played him on like 2K.
NBA Live, dude. We didn't play 2K back then.
No, yeah, true, yeah. We used to make fun of him. Like, we used to call him Lou Amudarshan, like he was an Indian guy. It was real funny. Pretty useless player. Forgot he existed, but...
Hey, I wouldn't call him useless, man. Those teams with Nash, Amari, Lou Amundsen.
I knew when I saw Lou Amundsen highlights on Twitter, something was wrong.
Dude, there's just been, like, people will post any player. I'm pretty sure I saw, like, a Kwame Brown mixtape the other day.
Kwame Brown has a great mixtape.
Dude, if you call, like, Getting Mixed as his mixtape.
Hey, yeah, you know, it's for the other players, but, yeah. Anyways, that's all we have today, so thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate...
Feel free to leave any messages in our inbox. What is it? What's the email?
Oh, podcast.lockedin@gmail.com.
Yep. Let us know. Again, if you want to be on this, we're more than happy to have guests. If you have any celebrities you know, any famous people you got contacts with, hit us up. We'll give you free home cooked food once this quarantine's done.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
If anybody knows Jimmy Butler, please let him know I love him.
Also, we are sorry, Giannis, for just randomly hating on you for no reason in this podcast.
I did not hate on him. I put him far.
No. We both just... You started off the East bracket by saying, shouldn't Van Vliet be the 1 seed? For no reason, you just immediately slandered that matchup.
Well, okay, Fred VanVleet is arguably the best player in the NBA. The most clutch player in the NBA.
Yeah, he's a father now, but Giannis still his daddy, dude.
Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, VanVleet has more rings than Giannis does, so.
Oh.
But, yeah, thank you guys for listening once again. If you guys got through this, 1 hour, 20-minute episode, we really appreciate it. Let us know what you think. Let us know your feedback. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about for future episodes. We'll try and post another one maybe this week. If not, definitely next week. But yeah.
Yep. Peace.
So stay safe. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands, people. Take care.
Take care.